evening, everybody, and welcome back to Dialogue here on JCN. I am at Pop-Up Studios and talking with the artist Dylan Rapillard, and I have Miss Deedee Brown, and we are discussing their upcoming show, very provocatively titled Peep Show. And when is it? We haven't got to any of the important stuff yet, so tell me about dates, times, how they can RSVP, what they need to do.
It is Friday the 13th of May.
Okay, great.
We will have, we've already sent the invitation out on Facebook as an event, and it's a public event. Anybody is welcome to come. There will be invites, actual small little flyers will be around, you know, Starbucks, drops them off at the wine lounge, you know, different locations like that.
Perfect.
So there shouldn't be...
So I can always have my reminder there. And so if I go onto Facebook, if I put in like Peep Show Bahamas or something like that, or maybe even just Peep Show, it should pop up. So then...
It's an event.
And it's also displayed on Pop-Up Studios' website because it will be held at Pop-Up Studios. So
right. And do you know what that website is?
It's popupstudios.com.
That makes it so easy. I love it when they're simple like that. And just, I mean, I know every Bahamian should know where it is, but let's give a little bit of the geography.
Sure. Well, everyone knows where the fort is. So,
yes.
Pop-Up Studios is in Chippingham, and it is on Dunmore Avenue, the same road that the Humane Society is on, and it's just south of the Humane Society.
Perfect, yes.
And basically it's a couple of roads up. You're taking a right onto Howard Street, and you're there.
Perfect. And they have a great big sign up there on the outside. It's really easy, but definitely go onto Facebook, check out their site, because I think the invitation actually has a little map in the back as well, so it makes it really simple. Is there a phone number at the studio or an email or anything that people could contact you, or on the Facebook page? Can they contact you through that?
Yes, they can. There's contact information is on the flyer, so if you pick one up, you can schedule a private viewing with Dylan or myself. Our emails are on there, as are our phone numbers. They will be on the Facebook event page. You can also contact Pop-Up Studios directly at 322-7834.
Okay. Perfect. So there you go. And remember, if all of that fails, you can always email me at bahamasdialogue@gmail.com, or you can go to my Facebook site, which is just facebook.com/bahamasdialogue, and send me a note, and I will make sure that you get the information. Okay, now we all know where it is and when it is. Let's go back to what's in it. So I'm still just, I wish you guys, I really hope everybody can come, because they're just pieces that your eyes are just continually drawn to them. I'm having a bad time focusing on my guests because I keep on being like, ooh, look at that, and look at that detail there. But Dylan, so I know your artwork is a little bit more abstract than the average artwork that, at least up until the last 10 years, was being done in the Bahamas. I know lots of people now have broken out, and I think you're one of the sort of leaders of the Bahamian pack doing this sort of thing. But how have you felt a change in the last 5 or so, or even more years that you've been doing art here, in a receptivity to more abstract forms of art in the Bahamas?
I feel so, yes. I feel a lot more people have been supportive of just art in general in the Bahamas over the last 10 years. I think it's great, the reception that everybody's receiving in the arts in general. There's still room to improve on it, but yeah, in general, I think that people are getting more in tune to the different varieties of art that there are. We're still not to the stage of doing large installations that are completely that don't mean anything really, or
in the traditional sense, right? Yeah.
Traditional sense, we're still not there yet. I mean, the production isn't necessarily happening either as much as it would be in other countries, but I think we're evolving.
We're growing. What do you guys think about art education? I mean, I'm thinking, and I know it's been a long time since I was in high school. Nobody has to point this out. Sometimes I get emails saying that, you know, it's been a while, so education's changed here, and I agree. And I'd love to know what you guys think about what's going on with art education here, because at least when we were in high school, there was, I mean, I didn't learn about Dali or Picasso or anything along those lines. It just wasn't a part of the art curricula. Do you think that's changed a little, or do they have more understanding of the importance of a variety of different art forms?
I feel that I hope it's changing. I mean, I guess from my own experience, we have had workshops here at Pop-Up Studios where art teachers will actually come in and professional artists will give them, lessons or, teach them.
Oh, fantastic.
different
And you
things
guys are
about
doing that here at Pop-Up. Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
particular skills. So for instance, we had an interior design workshop. Dylan did a workshop on
Screen printing.
on screen
Oh, on the
printing.
screen printing,
There's
fantastic.
jewelry making, graphic design, and I think what that's doing is it's teaching people, adults and children, that you can have a career in art. That's
right.
And because I think for a long time, art was something looked upon as something, as a hobby or something that you don't take seriously.
Right.
Or
The wealthy housewife maybe did in her
Right.
her backyard in the spare time.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that certainly is changing. And, I think how we can sort of, develop that is educating, young people about, artists here, Kendall Hanna, Max Taylor, people that have been around for a while and have, been quite successful at art. or
And they've
even
contributed so much,
Right.
exactly. It's great. Do you have school groups that come through Pop-Up then as well?
Yeah.
So the actual students will have come through for some of the exhibits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Central Bank of the Bahamas has students go through at the.
Of course. And you guys had an exhibit there. Was that last year or 2 years ago? How long
The
ago?
last
Last
two
That was
years.
last 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've exhibited there.
Fantastic.
I think at the basic high school level, I think they don't learn as much as in the at college level. I think college level
Right.
people can definitely focus their studies on what they actually intend to do. So if you're doing a fine art course at the College of the Bahamas, you'll definitely get a more full understanding of art than if you were just coming out of high school.
Just coming straight out.
High
yeah.
school teaches you basic techniques, hopefully some art history, but you'll definitely learn a lot more in college.
At the next
Or-
level,
or-
which I
or
suppose
on a
makes
pers-
sense with everything.
On a personal level as well, if you interest yourself in the arts, and you can learn.
And I would probably say that too, if you are a high school student and are interested in this sort of thing, always Pop-Up Studios is here. It's a great resource along with, we've got so many others with the hub now, and we've got all sorts of different locations doing different things, but just like to put that out there,
Yeah, and we also encourage students and younger people to come out and, volunteer at Pop-Up Studios, and, there's usually
Great.
there's usually a couple of artists here in-house, and, what we have is we'll have volunteers come in and we'll assign them different projects, and, it's good for them. They'll build experience.
Of course, and it looks great on your college resume if you're applying to any of the wonderful art institutes that you can already say that you've had. Call it an internship, perhaps,
Exactly, yeah,
at
definitely.
Pop-Up Studios or something along those lines.
Every year also, I completely forgot, recently the Dialogue-Peep Foundation just
That's right.
are sponsoring a junior residency program that's awarded to 3 art students at COB every year. They're awarded the opportunity to stay at Pop-Up Studios for 3 months during
Oh,
the
really?
summertime.
Oh,
The
fantastic.
Aguilar Foundation, in association with Pop-Up, they do their work. They're actually also sent to New York, I think.
Yeah, they traveled to New York
They traveled
last
to
summer.
New York to go see to visit the museums and gain a little bit more international knowledge about the arts.
Yeah.
And so that's a great addition to what can be done or what is done for art education in the Bahamas.
Definitely. Later in the show, I'm going to be talking to John Cox, who is the founder of Pop-Up Studios, essentially.
Yes.
I don't know what title he officially takes, but I know he's one of the founders, the dude.
Prez.
Yeah, there we go. Prez, CEO, whatever. And at some point, you guys had an international visiting artist that would come in too. And this just seems so important so that, as young, especially for young Bahamians who are interested in art, you do get this more international perspective because it's tough. A lot of us don't get off the island until we're 20, other than perhaps for a shopping trip to Miami, but we don't get to go to London or Miami or go Paris and go see some of the incredible international artwork that's available. Although Google is a pretty cool service too. It's amazing what you can see now, sort of the online Louvre and all these things.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna bring it back to your specific pieces, though I kind of feel like we're almost running out of time. Dylan, you have a lot of people with open mouths, and I'm trying to work at. I'm seeing this piece here. Your lady is screaming, or at least very vocal, and there's another lady over there with the blue who also appears to be in a similar state. What is this? Are they yelling? Is this anger? What is going on in these pictures?
The scream in general, I think, is a very energetic part of a very energetic facial expression that I really like to paint.
Okay, great.
Only due to, it could be a happy scream, it could be a sad scream, it could be an anguish scream. There are many reasons why people scream. Now, whether or not these are just screams, just yawns, they could be a variety of different things. What I'm doing in these pieces is more or less transforming the original image to something that I want it to look like.
Okay. So where would you have got the concept of the original image from? Is this photographs that you look at of people that, or how does that work? Tell me about that.
This whole series originated with from the Peep Show idea. Obviously, started thinking about what kind of peep shows we actually experience in life on a day-to-day basis, and I found that the online communities and the online websites, social networks that we deal with these days are
there are like peep shows in
There are many
themselves.
peep shows in themselves. They're you seeing somebody else's life without them knowing, and them showing it without knowing who's going to actually be seeing it.
I love it.
So these images are actually from social networking sites, and so I started approaching.
That's awesome. That's great. I think we should get Facebook to sponsor you next year.
So the idea originally spawned from that. Then I decided to look into how many people actually expose themselves on the internet and what all of this is about. So
who's showing unattractive photos of themselves, or just
how many
photos
of oneself can one take?
Yes,
and post on the internet.
It does seem that it's sort of never-ending for some.
It's
yes.
Here, and so if you'll notice in many of the pieces, I have the self-portrait that's done these days. The image of pulling the camera out towards oneself and taking a snapshot of oneself, or someone taking a picture in a mirror, or of the mirror, as the mirror would like to think.
Yeah.
Or using their
yes, exactly. From the mirror's perspective.
Or using their phone, or whatever it might be.
Camera,
So the image of oneself is what I'm trying to address right here, and how much we're exposing it, and what the actual use of that is. So what I've done is what's I guess commonly known as creeping. I've gone to creeping on people.
Is that an actual term?
Yeah.
I'm so out of the technical loop, but I love that. So you're a creeper.
I'm a creeper. I'm a creeper for the show.
A creeper peeper. This is
a creeper for the show. So what I've done is I've gone to many different profiles that I don't even know, and see how much information they actually put out there.
That's fascinating.
5,000 friends, 2,500 pictures of themselves are exposed on the internet without any type of privacy blocking.
No security.
They're just giving it out, more or less. Everybody knows what we can and can't see on these websites, so they clearly want everybody else to be able to see it.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm just taking these images, mainly, again, I say the self-portraits and reinterpreting.
Any geography? Did you limit it to anything, or this was just wandering the world anywhere?
I don't know. Anything that anybody that all of a sudden I found a eureka moment when 2,500 pictures appeared, I would use. I've used most of them are of different people. I think some of them might be two of the same person, but I've then transformed the image to something that you can't recognize anymore, and the image is created. And you made it yours. Well, on that note, we're going to take another quick break, but come back with us afterwards. We're going to be talking some more about upcoming Peep Show, May 13th.
Yep, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Cannot forget that. But we're also going to be talking to John Cox about pop-up studios in general, what's going on here, because they've got some other fabulous events that are going to be going on this year. So come back with us after the break.
He breaks you the bush crying, oh Lord, I got dead. And small, yeah, and short, chick running out the house, forget she's scared of